Did you ever have the "I'm an adult now" moment?
Yeah, I did, and I remember exactly when that happened.
Oh yeah.
I had kind of a different transformation around that than I think that some people did. Mm-hmm. Growing up, I had the very visceral experience that of who I was, and in the back of my mind, there was always this voice guiding me and saying, "You need to do this. Try doing this. Do this," kind of giving me directions. But the senior consciousness, or whatever we want to call that, would often not listen. And often that was the thing that everybody saw in my teens and my 20s.
Yeah.
And eventually when that senior consciousness that was kind of in control of my life and leading everything and making all those decisions got so incredibly bad at it.
Oh, yeah.
there was something of a rebellion of all the parts. And some people have not quite completely understood how I mean this, but in my mind, my experience of that is that there was very definitely the part that is me now, the senior consciousness and the now, kind of rose up and overthrew that other one.
Yeah, totally.
And said, you're fired.
You're done. Yeah.
You did kind of the et tu brute kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Down him because he just didn't do a very good job,
right.
And it was a very literal, personal, internal transformation, and I was no longer that other person. Mm-hmm. It was very difficult and hard, and I spent many years being very angry and pissed off. Not a lot of friends, and riding my motorcycle around by myself.
Yeah.
And but it had to happen.
Yeah.
And it was just like, no. It literally felt like a death of someone internally.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, all right, now it's my life. Now it's my life. I don't get to blame my parents for anything. I don't get to say that, the way they raised me is why I am the way I am. It's like, no, from here on out, I'm 100% responsible for everything that happens in my life and who I am and the decisions I make.
Yeah.
What was the scary thing too?
What was the impact of that? I mean, that's a tough decision to come to.
It was a decision that happened out of necessity, because that other person, who I still internally refer to as Jim, that's when I changed from Jim to James.
Oh yeah.
Jim is gone and dead, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And it was a difficult transition to actually make, but it was very definitely the right one.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's interesting. I now interviewing men, that's not an uncommon conversation. It's not necessarily worded in that way, but there definitely was a moment of choice, a moment of like, this shit ends. This ends now.
Yeah.
And the remarkable aspect of that is acknowledging your mistakes, acknowledging the choices you've made, and recognizing that those aren't working, and then, okay, today is different. Yeah. And now that today is different, now I've got a mess to clean up.
I don't know if this is always true, but for me certainly, and I think for a lot of other people too, the pain has to be strong. There has to be enough pain to cause that transformation.
Yeah.
Because if things are too comfortable or kind of okay, and there's kind of hope that continuing in the same way will get the results that you want, and then eventually that's got to stop being the case, and that was the case for me.
Yeah. Did you always trust men?
No, and I didn't. Largely, like I said earlier, because of the upbringing that my mother had, but also because I'm a geek.
Yeah.
And when I was on the playground, I was always the shortest kid in every single class that I ever was by a huge part.
Yeah.
And so I always felt very vulnerable, very like, oh shit, there's a genuine, real possibility that I can get beaten up and hurt.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a constant living in fear of being assaulted or hurt, and nobody coming up to save me.
Right.
And that happened a lot in the 70s. I think bullying is different now.
Yeah, totally different now.
I hope.
It's a different beast. Yeah.
It is. But back then, I remember being picked up by the jocks of junior high school and other things, and literally thrown from above onto the ground.
Yeah.
And and going to the principals and parents, and nobody seemed to care, and nobody said, yeah, that's wrong, let's help you. And it was like, what did you do to deserve that? And, that was a terrible feeling. And so, no, I didn't trust men. Being with women at least felt more... I didn't feel like they were going to pick me up and throw me around. Most of them. But if they did, it was going to be a lot more fun than being thrown out on the playground. But I do actually have some trauma around that still. And that is still a core thing that I'm working through. I still have this kind of, okay, if I'm going to be near a man that is physically bigger than I am, if there's an altercation, I'm fighting to the death. They are fighting to prove a point. I'm not.
Totally.
So I still have that, and that is something that I'm continuing to work through.
So do you trust men now?
I feel that I've countered. I feel the way I've adapted to it is I feel like my presence is a lot bigger now than it was then, and certainly now, since I went through the transformation of being an adult, I feel a lot more capable of taking care of myself. One of the interesting little validations of that new changing to an adult transformation that happened to me is 3 or 4 months after that happened, I was out in the desert with some friends, and excuse me, we were just having a kind of a little party at a campfire and stuff like that. And someone was playing music. There's some musicians there too, and so there was a couple very big drunk guys that were out there, crashed our party. In their 4-wheel drives, and I had just kind of gone through this transformation where the old stuff wasn't working. And I was, fuck it. I was really very angry about a lot of things in my life, angry at myself for having led my life that way. And in a way that wasn't getting me the things that I want. And I had just kind of gone through that rebellion inside. And feeling more strongly myself than I ever had been in my life. And these guys come up and try and push us around and take our, put out our campfire and destroy our camp and stuff like that. And I said no, and I finally went and attacked one of the guys that was probably about 6'4".
Oh wow!
he was about 6'4", probably about 260. And he went after something. I think he went after like a cooler or something like that. And I told him not. I kind of blocked him and said, no, that's my stuff. I'll give you a beer, but I'm not gonna. I don't want you to take it. He's like, And so I just grabbed him and took him to the ground, shit out of him, and it was great.
Didn't it though?
And he walked away. I did not, but I had nothing to lose, and he did. And I was just too small for him. He didn't know how to fight somebody my size. And I took him down, and so that was a turning point for me in my life too, when I actually did take down somebody who was not twice my size, but pretty damn close.
Pretty damn close,
Pretty damn close to it. And I just let loose all the rage that I had had in my entire 30 years up to that point. That poor guy. He had 30 years of pent up geek rage unleashed on him, and he walked away bloody. His friends helped him away, but that was a kind of a. I mean, it was a great experience, but it was also very symbolic.
Rite of passage,
it was, and I still have that fear of fighting, but I also feel that if I have to, like I said, I'm going for the day. For me, it's a fight to the death. For them, it's a fight to make a point, and I'm going to win.
Exactly. What does confidence mean to you?
Confidence to me is knowing that I am fulfilling on my vision, knowing that I'm going in the right way. That doesn't mean every decision that I'm making is the right one, or that I know that it's the right one.
Right.
But knowing that I'm going in the direction of my vision and fulfilling my purpose, that gives me confidence. And if every decision that I make is somehow focused on that or geared towards that, then I have confidence in my decisions.
Repeat that.
Happy to. If I continue to live my purpose and go in that direction and fulfill my vision, then everything I do, I have confidence in, even if it's not exactly the right decision at the moment, or there may be ups and downs. But I know that I'm going in the right direction. I know I'm doing what I should be doing. And that's what gives me my confidence.
Totally. Well, you weren't always confident. So
No.
how did you get here? What tools or tips or what happened?
That was part of the transformation that I went through. That I said it actually happened just a few months before my 30th birthday. And yeah, the thing that happened was that the other things were not working. It was not working for me to be the way I was in my teens and my 20s.
Yeah.
I knew that I wasn't fulfilling on my vision. I didn't know what that was. I didn't have the language for it.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, the senior consciousness at the time, Jim,
Yeah.
was grossly incompetent.
Right?
Yeah, and so that changed, and the rest of my parts said
Out. Yeah. Well, you didn't have the tools, so how did you get those tools? What was
how
it?
did I get the tools for what exactly?
You didn't have vision. You didn't have a relationship to
Right.
the word vision.
Right.
You didn't have purpose. You didn't have a relationship to
Yeah.
the word purpose.
Yeah.
How did you get that technology? How did you come into that thinking? What changed it for you?
I would say when the death of Jim happened, and James became the senior consciousness, the one in control, the big question was, okay, what now?
Yeah.
And there was also a lot of time that I spent that was in great despair. Things had not worked out for my entire life up to that point.
Yeah.
At least I didn't feel they did. And so the big question I was asking is, why am I here at all? Why should I continue to be here?
Right.
It doesn't matter if I'm here.
Yeah.
If this is so fucked up, why not go someplace else? Why not off myself and do that? And I remember very distinctively driving up from LA along Highway 1 on my motorcycle and having this moment, series of moments for the entire run of Highway 1, pretty much from LA to San Francisco. Whereas I was going down the road with my motorcycle, I would see the road turn and I'd see a cliff in front of me, and I'd go, I have a choice.
Yeah.
I can either go straight over the cliff and end it and go someplace else and do something else.
Yeah.
Or reincarnate or whatever comes next. Or I can make the turn and kind of stick around for a little while and see what happens. And I'll go around the corner this time. But I don't have to. And I didn't make that. I never felt I had a commitment to go around the next corner. Every corner was a choice. Every corner was a choice. Do I want to go over the cliff?
Yeah, I know that run.
Do I want to do that? And it didn't matter to me either way.
Yeah.
I was just at that point where I really just didn't care. Yeah, I knew some people would be sad, but they would get over it after a while. But eventually I kind of said, okay, well, if I do want to be here, what do I want to do with my life? And I said, the only thing that's ever really mattered to me is intimacy, love, and connection.
Yeah.
And building those bonds with people. And the only way I've ever really known how to do that is through BDSM and kink interactions. And so I said, well, that's a good starting point.
It's a great starting place, right?
That's a starting point. So that's kind of what I dedicated myself to on that trip.
Yeah.
And I said, I spent a lot of time on the planet already. I was 30 years old. And I'm like, a lot.
Yeah.
At that point, it felt like a lot.
Yeah.
It does. I'm sure every point in your life it does.
Yeah.
But I said, why should I just throw all that time and that experience away?
Right.
Why not use that towards something that's better and bigger than me?
Yeah.
And that's what I just dedicated my life to. And then once I did that, then everything else, I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to enact my vision, learn how to have the integrity to be able to fulfill on it, learn how to communicate it, learn how to be it, learn all that stuff. But that felt worth doing.
Who did you learn from, or what did you learn from?
Everybody and everyone around me.
Yeah. Books,
What I could.
Teachers, or mentors?
Star Trek,
Star
Captain
Trek?
Picard.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Mentors that I had in the BDSM community.
Yeah.
People who I felt had a lot of spiritual connections to that kind of work. Other people who I had known that had built their love and connection and intimacy through those kinds of interactions.
Yeah.
Learned a lot from my wife.
Yeah.
a lot from the community that we knew.
Yeah.
And all those people.
Yeah.
I just kind of observed it whenever I could. And because I felt I was always living my purpose and doing something that I felt was the right thing to do, it became a lot easier over time to go, that's the right thing. That's going to get me further towards my purpose. And that one isn't.
Right.
And so you got to make a choice. Just like going around the road
corner
on Highway 1.
Yeah.
Do I want to go over the cliff or do I want to go this way?
Yeah.
Do I want to live my purpose or not?
Yeah. Yeah. That's brilliant. And in our men's group, purpose is a big conversation, and basically it's your North Star. It's like when shit's going wrong, when life is shitty, it's like, oh, wait, I'm doing all this stuff. It's not related to my purpose. What am I doing? This is a waste of time. Get back to that. Yeah, that's brilliant stuff. Success. What does success mean to you?
Success to me means actually being able to be fulfilling on my purpose and actually doing it and saying, I did this. This worked. This moved it forward. This got that step even closer. And sometimes I've been very successful and sometimes I have not. But we know what that's like. So.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, to me, success is being able to actually have measurable achievements towards my vision and purpose.
Were you perfect at it?
It depends on the perspective you want to take, I suppose. If perfect includes making flaws and learning from them, then yes.
Right.
So yes,
Yeah.
I was perfectly flawed. I'll say it like that.
Were the flaws a hindrance for you? The flaws slow you down?
They didn't slow me down because, again, the way that I got through all those parts in myself that were not on board with helping me fulfill my purpose had to change.
Yeah.
They had to go by the wayside. The ways of being, ways of interacting, ways of communicating, ways of relating, values that I had, a lot of that stuff, everything changed.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's dramatic when that happens. Yeah, totally. That's great. Okay, so you weren't always successful.
No, I was not always successful. I was not always successful at fulfilling on my mission.
How did you get here, man?
Perseverance.
Perseverance.
It comes back to that same moment that I had when I had that transformation from being Jim to being James. Yeah. It's like, no, this is what I want. This is what I'm dedicating my life towards.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of worked my way through it.
Yeah. And did it come easier over time?
Yeah, it has become easier over time.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Yeah. Right. It does get better.
It takes a while, but it gets better.
Yeah, totally. Thriving. What does thriving mean to you?
I've thought about this one a number of times. Thriving means success and having a really good time with it.
Ooh, I like this.
Yes, I'm having success, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That kind of success. It's like having an abundance of success, or having success and enjoying it, and having so much more than I possibly need. And there are places in my life where I feel I am definitely thriving, and there's places where I'm getting by.
Yeah, totally. But that's the ebb and flow of life, right?
It is.
Yeah, totally. That's beautiful. Well, like I said, you know what's coming next, so you didn't always thrive.
Right.
What have you used, or what tools, or is there anything that's helped you get to the place of being able to have more thriving in your life?
The way I've been able to thrive more is just to know that I am on my path. I'm kind of harping on this a little bit.
No.
But the more that I know that I'm doing it, the more successes that I have, the more I know that I'm thriving. It's like any other discipline in life, whether you're learning a musical instrument, or learning to be good at business, or good at your career, or whatever it is. After you do something for a long enough time, you become a master at that.
Yeah.
And one of the components of being a master is becoming so good at something you can actually have fun with it.
Yeah, totally.
And I would say that's thriving.
Yeah.
When you master something so well, you can enjoy it and have a good time with it.
Right on. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate this.
Ken.
Thank you. God, dude. All right, guys. Ciao.